Hey, internet. It's been a minute. This is my fourth time trying to film this intro. Every time I film it, it gets longer. I'm trying to make it shorter. So let's try to actually make it shorter this time. I had some audio issues filming the video. Second take, super polished. Gonna have to edit, blah, blah, blah. Housekeeping. Upper Park Disc Golf. Very cool company. I bought that bag from them. It was a little bit messed up. They replaced it at no cost and let me switch the colors. So cool company. They actually stand behind their products. Discount code is below. You can use my code, get 15% off of anything on the site. They take that discount and send it the difference straight to me. So you save money and I get the money that you're saving. Don't know how that works, but it's a win-win-win situation. You get stuff cheaper, I get support, they get customers. So if you want to buy disc golf stuff, go check them out, please. I do think they're a cool company that you should support. That's one. Step two, Patreon. The Patreon is going great. Took a little dip for the start of tournament season, but it's coming back up. There are folks on that tier that join just the $1 or the $5 tier, which is just general support. Thank you to those people. It is really cool that folks appreciate what I'm doing on the channel and just want to buy me a beer every month. That's awesome. Making about, I think, 35 bucks a month from that. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it means a lot. So if you're one of those folks, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you want to join at the $50 or $100 tier, those are where you actually get coaching. The $50 tier, you get a 20-minute recorded review. I'll get you on the Discord. You send me videos. I'll record a 20-minute video and send it back to you. It's yours to keep. You can rip it off of YouTube or whatever you want. You also get access to the Discord for the whole month. Slash forever unless you're rude and I have to kick you off, which has never happened yet. You also get, so you can type questions at me the whole month and I'll answer as I'm able. That's a huge benefit. If you want to do work and you want to tell me what you're working on, I will send you text responses and make sure you stay on track. You also get a 10 minutes of my time check-in, which can be me filming a short video explaining something that you're not quite getting right about a drill that you film me and send me, or we can just check in on your throw again and see if we're making the changes we want to make. So that's the $50 tier, basically a review and a check-in and Discord access. The $100 tier, you basically get that twice. So you can do 2 reviews if you want. If you want to do a review every 2 weeks, that's the tier. If you want to schedule a video call and hop on and actually talk through the issues that you're having, the $100 here is the place to do that because the scheduling is a nightmare. So time zones, etc. So that covers my time if you want to do a call. It also covers the time if you want to just do a check-in every week or if you want to do 2 reviews or something. So I'm playing it fast and loose with those, but with a $100 tier, you're essentially buying more than an hour of my coaching time. So that's that. On to the video. Actually made it a little bit faster. Cool. So this video is just about talking about the quadrant of your lower body. And I really think it'll help folks conceptualize what their lower body is supposed to be doing in the way that I coach it. And I think it'll make you aware of a lot of the things you're doing that are not effective. So take a look. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Okay, so on to this video. This is my most concise model that I have to help people conceptualize what we want our body to do in the backhand. I'm only worried about the lower half so far because that's where I start coaching because I think it is foundational. If you're going to build a house, build the foundation first. Don't worry about your nose angle and how cool the roof is going to be first. Do that at the end after you've built the house. Just my personal opinion, not the only way to do it. So we're going to build a model of the backhand starting with the ground and the lower body. In order to do that, we're going to conceptualize what each quadrant of the lower body does. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants, and they each have a job or 2 to do. So let's jump into that. So I'm bracing. I have some offset. I am getting my toe down and then getting my heel down. That's building in a rock to a pivot. That's a safety thing. That's for later. But I'm getting here. This ties into the last video, which is 3 rails theory too. So I'm on my 3 rails. There's a rail for my front foot, rail for my rear foot, and a rail for my center of gravity, which is kind of going this way. Not going right at my front foot. That's only one rail. Rail, rail, same rail. Everything gets messed up. So we're not doing that. We're here. The role of my front foot is to interface with the ground so that my quad can push on the ground. I want my foot in a place where I can lift a lot of weight. So that's with the ball of my foot and the heel of my foot down. And then I want that to be transitioning to just the heel. Foot, interface with ground, that's all you have to do, done. And side note, you're going to do that with a rocking motion that makes it safe for me to pivot out. That's the foot. The fifth quadrant is your knee, front knee. Its job is to let the quad push on it and straighten the leg. That is going to take care of the second quadrant, which is my front hip. My hip is not really active. So when people say activate the hips, usually as the comment on disc golf form check, you're not activating your hips. When they say that, bop them on the head and say that doesn't mean anything. Please stop saying that. What does activate your hips mean? Your hips aren't active. Your quad is active. So I'm going to get down here. My foot is going to interface with the ground. My knee is going to get, my knee is active. My quad is active. That's going to straighten my leg. So right now you see my back pockets on a 45-degree angle. I get this heel down. I extend the front knee because of the front quad. And my front hip clears towards the east side of the tee pad if throwing direction is north. That is the job of the front hip, is to clear. That requires the front foot, requires front knee, requires the front quad. Requires having the foot closer than the hip. If I'm here and I activate everything, I just go up. It's just going to make me throw nose up. It doesn't help. So we need to get here, interface with the ground, get the heel down, fire the front quad to clear the front hip. The rear hip then peeks around. The rear hip's job is to have momentum from moving down the tee pad and to let that momentum continue forward and northwest-ish rotationally as the front hip clears. Foot interfaces with the ground, knee straightens, clears the front hip, rear hip continues forward. That's it. That's all the rear hip has to do. Doesn't have to drive, doesn't have to activate, nada. So what does the rear leg have to do? What does the whole rear quadrant have to do? The primary job of the rear leg is to get out of the way. If my rear leg is in the way, if I'm throwing like this, my rear leg is in the way. If my rear leg is stuck directly south, if it's stuck directly south, it's in the way. This hip cannot continue forward because it has to drag the whole leg with it. So once I get here, I have to internally rotate the rear leg and then the hip can go forward a little bit. If my leg is not in the way, if my leg is here in a not dynamic situation, that's my leg being east. This is where I set up my one leg position. More on that later. Here, my hip can continue forward and pop forward pretty explosively. Boom. It's also then going to have not a stop point, but a start to slow down point where it starts to have to drag the leg with it. A very important part of kinematic sequencing. The lower pieces have to start slowing down so that the upper pieces can start speeding up on top of that. More on that later. So, primary job of my rear leg is to get out of the way so that my hip's momentum can continue forward a little bit. The other job of my rear leg is to maintain my hyzer lean. So if I do not use my rear leg to maintain my hyzer lean, set up on this nice hyzer lean, but I don't have my rear legs in the right position, then I can be here, I can throw dynamically, and my spine is going to line up with my legs. So if I add a counterweight to that, now my spine is in line with my leg. This one is less relevant because I'm standing on it. I can be here and throw explosively and stay in balance because of that leg. I remove the leg, can't do it. There's nothing that can keep me here unless I'm doing weird rotating stuff. It can be done. I've seen it. Not what I'm trying to teach. So you need your leg in line with your spine. When we get strung out here, we have a short leg, long leg problem, and we go to throw, our spine lines up with our rear leg and we lose frontside containment because our shoulders are spilling over the brace. So that's it. That's all we need to do. Foot engages with the ground. Everything is set up. This is the complicated part. So that when I extend my front leg, it clears my leg. The problem most of us run into is we have one rail theory, not three rail theory. So one rail theory is if I'm trying to throw that way, but I'm setting my offset on my brace towards you, so I'm throwing that way, but I have to offset my brace because I know I'm supposed to do that. If I shift my weight at that foot, everything just smashes into the front side and it doesn't work. What I'm doing to make this hip actually clear is I'm sending my weight a little bit behind my front heel. So I'm not sending my weight at my front foot, sending my weight behind my front foot. That way, when I push into this foot, it clears the hips. That's the missing element in probably 90% of players that I've tried to help. So there is a conceptualization of quadrant theory of your lower body. I think that will help a lot of people understand what they're doing that's not working, especially if you cross-reference that with the three rails idea that you have to shift your weight not at your front foot. When you shift weight at your front foot, everything gets jammed up and your hips can't possibly work right, and you end up getting stuck behind your brace or going over your brace or spinning around your brace too quickly. One more thing to be aware of. I just watched a very cool video of Ricky Wysocki throwing that Axiom Disc Golf made. Really appreciate their cameras. Those are cool. And his back leg kind of anchors in place. A lot of pros do this. This is not what I teach. So he has that back leg kind of sort of stuck thing, whereas his rear leg lifts off and internally rotates, it's not drifting behind him to that northeast-ish direction. So I call that bracing and passing. That is what most pros do. Some pros have their rear foot actually drift a little bit. You can do either. I feel like letting the foot drift allows you to get to a deeper hit point with much more consistency. That's the only way that I can throw well, is to do that. That's why I teach that way, because I think it's more accessible to more people who are not as athletic. Yeah, so we can get into that more in the next couple of videos, but there's your overview of how I think about the brace and how I set up all four quadrants of the lower body to get you closer to that position so that you can feel a deeper hit point. Okay, Internet, I'll leave you alone there. Go check out the Patreon if you were at all interested in doing that. 2 tiers, $50, $100. If you're interested in the $100 one, drop me a comment. And check out Upper Park Disc Golf and use the code for 15% off. All right, see you next time. Good luck.